Welcome back to episode 116 of the ATD Baseball Podcast. We have made it to the crown jewel division of Major League Baseball, the National League West. As you can see, I am dressed up accordingly. I had to dress up for today. Of course, we're talking about my division, the NL West, but uh, we do have another major free agent signing to talk about. Again, I mentioned this last week. Every time we come off of here, another free agent signs like in the middle of the week, and that's what happened with Alex Bregman. Of course, he signed, I think, the next day. If not, it was on Wednesday. But we'll mention that. But the main topic of discussion today is the NOS. Before we get into that, Kyle, how are you doing today? You got a big week planned. You got a big week ahead of you.
Yeah, no, I definitely do. Honeymoon next week, kind of crazy. But yeah, no, other than that, man, I'm doing great. We're finally gotten to the point of the off season where we're seeing all the spring training things. I saw Cody Bellinger hit a absolute
Oh, I
tank
saw that.
off of Carlos Rodon today. That got me in the mood. That got me fired up. So yeah, man, it's great all around. Baseball's back. It's amazing. We're just getting that much closer, man. Other than that, man, I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. Like you mentioned, teams are have reported to spring training. Believe it or not, the first spring training game is in 48 hours, less than 48 hours
I
from
know,
the
man.
time of this recording. Dodgers and Cubs will play somewhere in Arizona. I don't know who's home or who's on the road, but yeah, I'm getting excited. Shohei Ohtani threw his first bullpen over the weekend.
Saw that.
Excited about that. He is shooting for a May return to the bump, so I'm excited for that. Uh, I've been on a hockey crave recently.
Saw that.
As you can see, I'm sure people that are listening, if you don't know what I'm talking about, or maybe you do, there's been this exciting Four Nations tournament going on in Montreal and in Boston the last week and a half, and it's really come at a great time because the NBA and that's lost me over the weekend, but um, the NBA and the NHL are on their All-Star breaks this week. Ironically, this year they both happen at the same time. So there has not been a lot of sports on the last week. I've watched a lot of college basketball as we get ready for the tournament next month. And
Mhm.
but this hockey tournament, I've been really into it. But again, it ends this week and then everybody comes back, but then baseball. I'll be watching the Dodgers on Wednesday and rooting for the Dodgers to win, even though it's a meaningless spring training game, and I have no idea who's even going to play in it. But to answer your question, fantastic. We're Baseball is here, and we're getting that much closer. So it's great.
Absolutely. And I will also say something that I've been doing to get a little bit more of my baseball fix. MLB Network. I've been watching the top 100, and then I watched a lot of college baseball too. Um, that's actually really fun, man.
It
You know,
is.
I mean, usually the craze is around college football. My Notre Dame kind of shit the bed in the national championship this past year, but that's beside the point. But yeah, no, college baseball is fun, man. That was never something that I really like tuned into, really cared about, but I found myself missing baseball, and that top 100 list, like, it is what it is. You agree with some, you don't agree with others,
I
whatever.
agree with the list completely.
I, for the most part, I do. It's hard to beat out Otani. I get it, whatever. But of course, I wanted to see Judge number one. But I'll settle for number two. It's still pretty good. But no, that college baseball, man, it's actually really fun. If you ever need yourself, craving some more sports, definitely tune in.
It is, and I don't want to forget about them. I don't know if you've watched college softball. Those girls can play, man. It is intense. I've been I've been to a couple.
hmm
I went to a lot in high school because
Yeah,
I had a lot of still do. I have a lot of girlfriends, not in that way. You know what I'm talking about. Get your head out of the gutter. But I had those too. But I knew a lot of girls that were on the softball team.
Yeah.
So we would all, it was like, like, hey, high school, the girls will go see the guys play baseball, and then the guys will go see the girls play softball.
Hmm.
I sometimes, like, when there's really nothing else on, I'll put on like a softball game on ESPN. Like, those girls could play, man. Like, don't those girls could play. Yes.
They hit tanks, and I'm telling you, like I remember in high school. Obviously, we're going on a tangent here. I remember in high school, seeing some of those girls on the wind up and everything. I'm of course cocky dickhead, thinking, "Oh yeah, I can take that 450, no problem." But I'm watching these girls in college, man. Dude, they're slinging that fucking ball. It's
Yes, they
not.
are.
It's crazy, and those girls are hitting some tanks, man. It is actually really fun. I will agree with you.
And they're slinging my balls after. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I walked into that one.
Yes, you did. I had to say it. They were also playing with my balls after. So,
You should pat yourself on the back for that one, man.
yeah, I should. I could go worse, but this is still a podcast, and I would like to not. I would like to have a job in 5 years from now.
Of
So,
course, and we want to be monetized, so
yes,
we got to watch exactly where that line is crossed. So you're you were just riding it. That's all. We're
I
good enough.
was riding it. They were riding my baseball bat, man. I'm telling you.
Oh, I
Telling
love
you.
slinging
Yes.
riding baseball bats. There we go.
Damn right. That's what it was. A nice 34 incher, man. Yes.
Oh man, that's
All
great.
right. Let's get into this. Alex Bregman signed a 3-year, $120 million contract, I believe.
Hmm.
Yeah, with the Boston Red Sox. Remember the whole when Kyle Tucker got traded to the Cubs. It was like, okay, they're trading their best. Essentially, they're one of their best players, which made no sense. But the only reasonable like logic behind it was like, okay, they traded away Kyle Tucker, so they don't have to pay him, and they're going to use that money to pay Alex Bregman. Didn't happen. He left Houston, and he is now going to Beantown. And there's already some drama coming out of Boston, as of course, like we mentioned earlier, um, the these teams are starting to report, which means players are now doing their obligations of speaking to the media, and Rafael Devers had a very simple answer when somebody asked him if he wanted to play DH. Said no. He's like, I'm the third baseman. I want to be the third baseman. Well, of course, Alex Bregman is a third baseman also. So now there's this competing, and I guess according to another, I think I gotta go back and read it or look at it. Apparently, Alex Cora didn't know either that they were getting uh, Alex Bregman, or they didn't think they were landing him until they told him. So um, maybe not off to the best of starts, but let's talk about the fit. What does Alex Bregman fit in Boston?
Yeah, I mean,
Take your Yankee hat off.
yeah, I know. Seriously, to the naked eye, yes, I think he does fit in Boston. However, there is a huge question mark now because you do have Rafi Devers, and to me personally, I do think Rafi Devers is the better player overall. Rafi Devers is younger. That's something else to think of too. Like, who's the better fit at the hot corner? Like right now, there is no slotted fit for Alex Bregman. Um, Obviously, I like what he brings. He's still a serviceable superstar in this league. I think he fits Boston's lineup well, and I think he's going to fit the stadium well. He's going to fit Fenway, everything else. But when you're looking at it, I do think Rafi Devers is the right decision at the hot corner. He's younger. I feel like he's better defensively. I'm not taking anything away from Alex Bregman. You just have an elite third baseman already on the team. Um, so personally, yeah, and you did sign him to that huge contract just a few years ago with Rafi Devers. So it was kind of his team. So I do think Rafi Devers should have a say in this, at least something. And I'm not saying, keep him at the hot corner for 162. If you need to, you got two elite third basemen there now. That's a great problem to have. Third basemen are hard to come by nowadays, and you got two elite ones on your team. That's That's huge. So if you want to switch him off day by day, going third base DH, that's fine. But to me personally, I would be putting Rafi Devers at third base more often than Alex Bregman. But no, overall, I like the fit. It was kind of looking like Boston was the place to go. Um, it's a cool story. Boston drafted him out of high school. He decided to go play college ball at LSU, and then he ended up going to Houston afterwards. So it's a cool story, full circle kind of thing. But overall, I just looking at the problem, if you want to put that in quotation marks, I would go with Rafi Devers at third base more often than Alex Bregman. Um, Now, I do also want to touch on this real quick, and then I'll let you have your thoughts. Um, this contract was a little wild to me. You know, you had said what 3 years,
120,
120. Okay, 3 years,
and
one.
there's deferred money in there too.
There is. However, I'm not sure how the deferrals went, but I do know that it equals out to 40 million a year. So whether that's him getting the 40 million at once or there's deferrals in there, whatever it is, the way that I look at this, there are, I believe it was either 4 or 5 players in this league who's making $40 million or more a year. And I think it was Otani, Soto, Judge, and Alex Bregman. That's a little crazy to me. Um, I do think if he is getting that high AAV, obviously, yes, I know there's deferrals in there, but the way that it lines up is it to the naked eye, it looks like he's making 40 million a year. So that's what I'm going to judge this off of. And to me, Alex Bregman just isn't that type of player anymore. I do think he's on the tail end of his career. I'm not saying he's not great because I do think he's a great ball player and he's gonna kick the shit out of my Yankees like he always does, and he's gonna piss me off even more that he's on in Boston. But overall, I just think the contract's a little crazy, and I know it was probably a number that they had to go to for him to take the less years. But that's kind of my overall thoughts. Is I would definitely use Rafi Devers more at the hot corner, and the AAV. That's a little crazy to me. 40 million a year for Alex Bregman. I don't know, but overall, I think it's a great fit for Boston, and I think he's going to be a really good piece in that lineup.
Yeah, and the 40 million, there's opt outs after both years.
Hmm.
Um, he's not opting out of $40 million. I can tell you that right now, unless he has like a crazy monster year again,
Yeah.
which he can have. But
Hmm.
man, $40 million is going to be hard to walk away from
It
and go
is.
back out on the open market.
I definitely do seeing this contract ending in Boston after the 3 years. I mean, I know he was originally looking for that 6, 7 year kind of contract, that long term stability. But I think with his age, I think Alex Bregman did a phenomenal job getting this contract for himself. And, at the end of the day, good for him and his family, seriously. He goes to Boston, he gets 3 years, 120. That's more than what I would have valued him at. Not taking anything away from his play, but when you're in company with those type of guys, it's a little wild to me.
Right. It is going to feel very weird not seeing Alex Bregman in Houston
Oh yeah.
because he was there for 9 seasons. You know, I know he originally got drafted by the Red Sox, then went to go play college ball, then got drafted again by the Houston Astros in 20 in I forget which year, but total of 9 years, 9 years there, two World Series, couple All Star games, Silver Sluggers. Again, it's gonna feel weird not seeing him in Houston next year. But
It is.
listen, man, if you're a Red Sox fan, I don't think they got an issue with it right now.
No.
You're taking Alex Bregman that at the very worst he's not going to be afraid of the moment,
Hmm.
and he terrorizes your arch rival, the Yankees. So he's
Yep.
going to play very well at Yankee Stadium, and he's going to play very well against that team on the other side. But you can't complain if you're a Red Sox fan because the last couple years they've been labeled as cheap, not
Hmm.
willing to spend money, not competing for the playoffs. They're going for it now,
They are.
and we will do the American League East, I believe, next week.
Hmm.
But um, just a little preview to it. I like this Red Sox team.
Me too.
I really do.
I hate to say it.
I really do. I if Toronto's not going to step up, I really think, and let's see how the Orioles come out next year. But I really believe that the Boston Red Sox could be the second best team in this division.
Oh yeah,
That's not out of the question. Their
definitely not.
lineup is their lineup is pretty good. They address the pitching, not completely, but you did get the ace of your future in Garrett Crochet during the offseason. And they got a manager who kicks ass and everybody wants to play for, and he wins.
Yep.
Alex Cora. It looked like he was going to be out of a job not that long ago, and he got an extension from them. So um, I'm liking this Red Sox team. This red what I said the Mets were going to be. I really think the Red Sox can be that, and maybe even more. But I have to see it first. I have to
Yeah.
see it. But um, this is a solid move for the Red Sox. Now, again, you look under the hood, 40 million a year, but hey, man, it could have been a lot worse. It could have been 40 million for 6 or 7 years.
Yeah.
At
It,
least
it
it's only for three.
yeah. No, I couldn't agree more. Yeah, this Red Sox team scares me a little bit. They do. I didn't think it'd be this quick of a turnaround for them. I thought they were going young. I really did. I thought they were going to go young and build around Devers, bring the young guys up. Obviously, they have a stud in Jared Duran, dude. Um, so obviously, that's the way that I thought they were going to go. But they proved me wrong, and they addressed a lot of needs. And this team is looking good. They really are.
Remember when the Red Sox fans were complaining and sad that they didn't pay Xander Bogarts? Looks
It's
pretty good now.
They look great now. Yeah, it really does. And speaking of Xander Bogarts, we'll be talking about him and his squad in a little bit here.
That is a very good transition as we will now jump into the National League West. Like I said, how we do this, listen, we're saving the best for last. Literally, the Dodgers, we'll save them for last. But we will start at the bottom, literally, again, bottom,
Yeah,
with the Colorado Rockies. Now, what did the Colorado Rockies do this offseason, you may ask? Well, I'll tell you. Um, they re-signed Jacob Stallings to a one-year deal. They signed infielder Dodgers legend Kyle Farmer to a one-year deal. They signed infielder Cairo Estrada to a one-year deal,
I
and they
like that,
lost
by the way.
yes, and they lost Cal Control to free agency. Their over under is 59.5 wins this season. Um, Again, this is another year where I don't know where. I guess the Rockies are. They're clearly building for the future here. Um, However, and they did lose, and they lost. I should have mentioned this in there. Charlie Blackman retired,
Hmm. Yeah,
so they'll be out without him next year. They're gonna roll out Brendan Doyle, Ezekiel Tovar, Ryan McMahon, Chris Bryant, Michael Tunga, Nolan Jones, Thairo Strada, Sam Hiller, and Jacob Stallings. And you look at their rotation, and it's headlined by Herman Marquez and Kyle Freeland again. Um, oh, man. See, I watch a lot of NOS baseball, so there's a lot of times I'm watching the Rockies late at night when there's nothing going on. They're always a sneaky team, man. Like I don't expect them to be competitive this year, but they always give a team trouble, especially when you go to Coors. They
hmm
always do that. Um, these can't. Yeah, you know what? These can't all be. I'll go over with the Rockies. How about that? Wait a minute. Maybe they trade. No, no. I'll go with my gut. I'll say over for the Rockies. I don't think they're gonna be that bad. I don't think they don't. I think they now. I think they just beat the number by a little bit,
Yeah.
65, 64, 65. But I don't think the Rockies. I don't think this Rockies team is that bad.
No, so it's pretty clear that this team is going to be last place in the division.
Right.
I don't see a world where they'd even sniff to compete in this division. However, I'm kind of on the same boat as you. They are a sneaky team, and when you play at Coors, there's nobody better who knows how to play at Coors other than the Rockies. Um, and that can be a sneaky ballpark. You know, you can give up a lot of homers there, obviously with the elevation, everything else. Yeah, I mean, it's this team doesn't wow me. It really doesn't, except for a few young pieces they have. I kind of touched on it. I really like the Estrada move. That was a move that I hated that the Yankees made. It hasn't come back to fully bite him in the ass, and I don't know if there would have been a place for him on the team. But I've always liked Dario Estrada. I always thought he was a great prospect, and I thought he was going to turn into something. And he had a few really good years over there in San Francisco. Um, so, I mean, yeah, I do think they can scrap out a few more wins than 59.5. So I think I am going to take the over on the Rockies.
There you go. And Brian McMahon's a nice piece. Brendan Doyle's a nice piece. Like those guys could play.
Yeah,
They
absolutely.
get some help with Coors, but so does everybody.
Yeah.
So does everybody. So there you go. We're both taking the over for the Rockies. So again, we are in sync so far again.
Perfect.
Uh, San Francisco Giants. They made a big splash, and then that was about it. That was about it. They signed Willie Adames to a 7-year deal. They signed Justin Verlander to a 1-year deal. Again, that's going to be weird.
Yeah.
Uh, and they lost Blake Snell and Michael Conforto to the Dodgers in free agency. And they traded Taylor Rogers to the Reds. Their over under is set at 79.5. That's a good number, man. Like I'm looking at this lineup right now. Lamont Wade Jr., Willie Adames, Young Ho Lee, who, it sucked for him that he got hurt very early in the season last year because he was probably going to contend for Rookie of the Year last year in the National League.
Hmm.
Matt Chapman, he got an extension. Heliot Ramos, who he was one of the best stories last year, making the All Star team and having a good season. Mike Yastrzemski, Tyler Fitzgerald, Wilmer Flores, and Patrick Bailey, and of course their rotation headline by Logan Webb, Robbie Ray, Justin Verlander, Jordan Hicks, and Kyle Harrison. See, this is like this team is not. It's not bad. Again, it's not bad, but because the other teams in front are better and they're stacked. Like the Giants are still a fourth place team. Like they are.
Yeah.
Um, they did a good job of finally getting a big name free agent in there with Willie Adames, and now you have him at the, pretty much prime of his career, late 20s, early 30s. So they did make a good move, but that's other than that, that's they didn't really do much. They didn't really wow me this year, and Buster Posey is now ahead of the Giants.
I do like that.
So, yeah, I like that. I think he's going to get the team in a couple years. Come back to me about the Giants, and I think they are building for something here.
Oh, yeah.
And I think under Buster Posey, they're not going to just be. They're going to compete, and they're going to be lazy. I mean, they're not going to be lazy. Um, See, that's a good. Oh my god! I'm gonna go over on the Giants. I'm gonna go over, but not by much. I think this is an 82 and 80 team. That's what
Okay.
I see. Maybe even a little bit better, but like I don't know. They had ever since 2021, this Giants team hasn't done anything impressive at all. They've been non-competitive, and I just it's nothing personal against the Giants. I know people are going to say, "Ah, well, because you're a Dodger fan, of course you're going to say they suck." But I just think the teams in front of them are better. Now that doesn't mean they're doing the right thing. Buster Posey, it's year one. They'll get better in the years to come, but for right now, they're still they're still the fourth best team in this division.
Yeah, pretty much we're in sync again. I'm going to take the over on the Giants. It's not by much. Again, I'm in total agreement with you. I think they are a fourth place team, and that is strictly because of the teams in front of them. I see this team being a little bit better than 500. Not by too much, but I do think they're a pretty solid team. Just unfortunately for them, they play in a very good division, and that's what it comes down to. The three teams in front of them are clearly better. I don't think it's by a small amount either. I think those teams are clear cut better. So yeah, it sucks for the division that they play in, but who knows? This is another team I could be could be scrappy. This isn't a team that I would want to play in late September where you're fighting for the division. This is a team that I want to see early on in the season, get the games out of the way, because I look at the Padres, Dodgers, or Diamondbacks. You're not going to want to play this Giants team late September when you're fighting for a wild card or whether you're fighting for the first place position in this division. Um, so yeah, I love the pieces they made or they got. I love the Willie Adamas deal. Verlander's a little weird to me, but I think that's low
Yeah,
risk, high reward. Um, so I don't think it's going to turn out to be bad. And who knows? If he's doing well at the deadline, you ship him off somewhere else because it's Justin Verlander. You know what you're getting out of him.
trade him
So
back to Houston.
pretty much, yeah, just do what the Mets did. Yeah, no, I'm taking the over for the Giants, but it's not by much.
Now, now we're getting to the good stuff here.
Yes, absolutely.
Let's do. I'm doing this in order of last year. If you haven't been able to tell yet, let's do
Uh-huh.
the Arizona Diamondbacks. Now, the Diamondbacks had I'd say, a pretty good offseason.
Oh yeah.
They signed Corbin Burns to a 6-year deal, traded for Josh Naylor from the Guardians. They re-signed Randall Grichuk to a 1-year deal. They signed Kendall Graveman to a 1-year deal. They did lose Christian Walker, Jock Peterson, Kevin Newman, Josh Bell, and Paul Sewald to free agency. However, though, yeah, um, you look their lineup next this coming season: Corbin Carroll, Ketel Marte, Josh Naylor, Luis L'Oreal Jr., Jake McCarthy, Eugenio Suarez, Pavin Smith, Gabriel Moreno, and Geraldo Perdomo. And oh man, like their starting rotation, man, that's a good top three right there.
It's
Corbin
amazing.
Birds, Zach Gallen, Merrill Kelly, and then you get Eduardo Rodriguez, and don't sleep on Brandon Fott either.
No.
He's very good. Their over under is set at 85 and a half. Again, if it wasn't for the Dodgers, and obviously we'll touch at them in a little bit, but they might have had the best pitching rotation in this division if it wasn't for the Dodgers. I
Yeah.
really believe that. Um, Corbin Burns was an excellent signing. Obviously, I wish the Dodgers would have had him, but hey, we got Blake Snell and everybody else, so completely okay with that. But um, and people forget, the Diamondbacks, they missed the playoffs last game of the season. If they did not have a slow start in April, and if they did not completely collapse in September, they would have been a postseason team again.
Oh yeah.
Because for the longest time, it was Diamondbacks, Padres wild card series, and then they fell off at the end there. But um, see, this is another over for me. This is another over for me. I like this Diamondbacks team, and I know they're gonna be a pain in the ass this year. I know they are. Um, Corbin Carroll, he had again. he got off to a slow start last season,
Hmm.
and he finished with 22 home runs, 74 RBIs, and he hit 231. I don't think that's happening this season. I expect Corbin Carroll to have another good season in 2025. I expect a bunch of stolen bases again. I expect I expect close to 100 RBIs, and I expect the home run total to be 25, 27, somewhere around that range, and he's hitting over 260, 270 again. This Diamondbacks team, this is one of those teams as a Dodger fan that I have my eye on this year. I can very well see we face off with them in the division series in October. And I'm going to be very nervous. I can tell you that right now. Corbin Carroll, Corbin Burns versus, I don't know, Blake Snell. Let's go Blake Snell. It's a very good pitching matchup, and I'll be nervous. But this Diamondbacks team, if you're a Dodger fan, you should be afraid of. You should be afraid of this year. They had a bad April and they had a bad September, but I'm not falling for that again, man. I think the Diamondbacks, I think they're a playoff team this year. How about that?
I am in cahoots with you yet again. I'm taking the over on this Diamondbacks team, and for me, I'm big on them this year. I am. Um,
How
I
big are you?
I'm I'll say it a while. I'm second place big for the Diamondbacks. I am second. Obviously, the Dodgers are number one for me, but I'm second place big on this Diamondbacks team, and I say they make the playoffs again. Um, this is a team that I mean, you mentioned it. They just missed out on the playoffs, and it was because of their kind of own on like doing basically. Um, it was it was just a collapse. That's really what it was, and I really don't see that happening again. I understand, they did lose some big pieces here. They lost Christian Walker, they lost Paul Sewald, and another mix of guys in there, Jock Peterson. Um, However, I do think Corbin Carroll takes a next step into being a certified superstar in this league. I think he's obviously the core guy there. And also too, I don't want to sweep this under the rug. I understand you lost Christian Walker, and he's a big bobber. He hits you probably 30 home
Dodger
runs.
killer. I'm
Yes.
glad he's out of the division.
However, they replaced him with Josh Naylor,
Yep.
and I cannot express. I'll be honest with you. I understand Corbin Burns is big. Don't get me wrong, but I think my favorite move that the Diamondbacks made, possibly my favorite move of the offseason, was getting Josh Naylor to Arizona. I cannot express how much I love that move. I think he fits that Diamondbacks team so well, and I think I could see a high 270s, low 280s batting average, and I could see him hitting at least 25 homers. I'm going to be honest. I think he's going to have a huge year in Arizona, and I think he's going to fit that team extremely well. And on the pitching side of things, I love that. I love that pitching rotation, man. I really do. Headlined by Corbin. You basically have two aces in there.
Yep.
Corbin Burns, Zach Gallen back to back. And if you see the Dodgers in a playoff series, I don't know if you could ask for better than those two guys. Truly. I mean, obviously the Dodgers have one of, if not the best starting rotation in all of baseball. And if you want to compete with the Dodgers, you need to have a good pitching staff. And that's exactly what Arizona has. And they're a division rival. I'm telling you, man, I am high on this Arizona team this year, and I think they're going to make some noise in the NL West this year. So for me, this is an easy over.
I agree with you. That easy over. All right, now let's get to the team that vomited all over themselves in the postseason and went 24 scoreless innings. Talking about the San Diego Padres. Now, San Diego Padres for the longest time did not do much. Of course, as you know, they are dealing with instability in their own front office. They're trying to figure out. There's this big lawsuit that came out during the offseason. They're trying to figure out now who's the head of the Padres ownership and all that. So, the moves that they have made this offseason were all pretty much very recently. They
Mm-hmm.
signed Nick Pivetta to a 4-year deal, which that was very recent. I think it was last week again or over the weekend.
Yeah.
Um, They re-signed Elias Diaz to a 1-year deal. They signed Connor Joe to a 1-year deal. They signed Dodgers legend Jason Hayward to a 1-year deal. Not a fan of that. They signed Kyle Hart to a 1-year deal, and they lost Tanner Scott, Jerickson Profar, Ha-Sung Kim, Kyle Hidashioka, Martin Martinez, and Donovan Solano to free agency.
God.
That's a lot. That is a lot. They're and what they're gonna roll out next season. And I gotta be honest with you, like, listen, I know this is gonna be sound very weird coming from a Dodger fan. I'm looking at this Padre lineup. It's not that bad.
Mm,
It's really not that bad. You still got Luis Ariz as at the top. Fernando Tatis Jr., Jackson Merrill, Manny Machado, Jake Cronenworth, Xander Bogaerts, Jason Hayward, Elias Diaz. Like, that's not a bad lineup at all.
no.
It's not a bad. Now, I don't know if Luis Ariz is going to be out there opening day, but
Bingo.
um, still, apparently, Fernando Tatis Jr. is healthy. Manny Machado is fully 100% recovered from his injury, and their pitching staff is currently Dylan Cease, Michael King, Yu Darvish, Nick Pivetta, and Kyle Hart. But again, I don't know if Dylan Cease is going to be on this team um, at the beginning of this season, and they have another tradable piece, and it makes sense to trade them the most. And I'm looking at Robert Suarez in the
Hmm.
bullpen. He is a free agent at the end of this season. And it's more than likely that he is going to walk right out of San Diego this offseason. So listen, I know we're previewing this team, and I'm not trying to tell them what they should do, but you should consider trading Robert Suarez because he's gonna, if he has a good season like I think he will, he's gonna demand a big contract, and I don't think the Padres are gonna give him that. So get what you can now. But um, this team is really not that bad. It's not, you know. Like I just mentioned, Luis Ariz, Tatis, Merrill, Machado. That's a good top four right there.
Hmm.
You know, and Jackson Merrill had a tremendous rookie season. Didn't win Rookie of the Year, came close, but he played very well in center field. He had a great year. Um, I think the Padres are still going to be competitive. You know, I think they'll be fighting for a wild card spot. I can see it, but again, it all goes back to what is this lineup going to look like on opening day? Because Luis Ariz is not a shoe in. Dylan Cease is not a shoe in the rotation. Robert Suarez is not a shoe in the rotation. And there's a lot of rumors that they're trying to get out of that Xander Bogaerts contract now. They are willing to put in a big prospect in there, you know, to just get out of that contract. I don't know if the Padres are going to do that, but we're going to see. But um, I say this as a baseball fan. I know it's weird kind of me complimenting the Padres here a little bit, but um, Padre fans, I know the sky, it was not a good offseason. It was not a good offseason. You had a great 2024 season. It all came crashing down in the postseason. And then you had a horrible offseason. But this team is not that bad. They're going to be competitive. And I know there's a lot of Padre fans that want to cancel the season already and say, "Oh, why should we compete? This team is." I don't know about that. I really think this Padre team is going to compete. However, 89 wins is a big number for a team that I don't even know what their roster is going to look like on opening day. Like I mentioned, Luis Ariz, is he going to be on the team opening day? Is Dylan Cease going to be on this team? That's a big number. I'm going under on the Padres. Again, though, that doesn't mean I think they're bad. They're going to be competitive this year. But I just think 89.5 is a big number, and I don't think they get it.
Oh man, 4 for 4. I am
Yeah.
also taking the under on this Padres team, and for me, it is literally all about uncertainty
Yep.
because I don't like as of right now. If I'm going into the 2025 season looking at this Padres team and saying this is the team that is going to be there once October comes, yeah, I'm willing to hit that over. But there's no guarantee. We've heard Dylan Cease rumors. We've heard Michael King rumors. Like, if Dylan Cease goes, I don't like that rotation at all. Don't get me wrong, I love Michael King, but I don't think he's an ace of a staff.
Yankees
If you
legend.
keep him, yeah, exactly, Yankees legend. Um, I love him and I love what he brings, but I don't think he's an ace. Maybe potentially he could be, but not right now. And you Darvish is getting older. You just can't rely on these guys as much anymore. And I think I like the lineup. I do. I think Jackson Merrill is going to take another big step, and I think he's going to turn into a superstar, man. I truly do. I love what they have in him. But again, like you don't know. Okay, so we look at the mainstays in that lineup, I guess. Tatis, Machado, and Merrill is the three that I'm looking at. Merrill, I think, will be fine this year, but there's no guarantee that Machado and Tatis aren't going to have a little bit of an injury bug. You don't know what you're getting out of Xander Bogaerts, and you don't even know if your leadoff hitter is going to be there. So I
And you
think with
can't
the
put him on the field either.
no, you can't. So I think for the uncertainty around this team, I just can't confidently say over in this team because I don't know if that's going to be the team. This team could look totally different by the trade deadline. Seriously, once we come and go after the All Star break, this team could be flipped upside down, and half of the guys that we're talking about now might not even be there. So this is where the Padres are a huge wild card in this division. You don't know which way they're going to go. So for that reason, I'm going to play it safe, and I'm going to go the under, just because I don't know if this team's going to be looking like this once trade deadline has come and gone. So for that reason, I am also going the under.
Yep, we're 4 for 4 here. We're really in sync. So
Yes.
let's play the game, Padre fans. It's not gonna be horrible, man. Let's play the games. Let's play the games. But all right, we have saved the best for last. Now, I did this last year. However, they achieved a couple things last season. So before I give you everything that happened with this team during the off season, I would like to update their stuff and give them the proper introduction. This is the franchise with 22 National League Western Division titles. This is the franchise with 25 National League pennants. And this is the franchise with 8 World Championships. Your defending World Series champion, Los Angeles Dodgers. How about it? How about it? It is so nice coming into this season as the top dog, as the defending world champs. Only 2 times in my lifetime am I going into a season looking to defend our championship. 2021 and now 2025. I'm very much looking forward to it. But you ask, what did the Dodgers do in this free agency? What the hell didn't they do in free agency? That's the thing you should be asking yourself. Of course, they won the World Series last season. They signed Blake Snell to a 5-year deal. They signed Roki Sasaki, which I still don't know what that number is. I would like to know. They re-signed Teoscar Hernandez to a 3-year deal. They signed Tanner Scott to a 4-year deal. They re-signed the legend Clayton Kershaw to a 1-year deal. Welcome back. They signed Haesung Kim to a 3-year deal. They signed Kirby Yates to a 3-year deal. They signed Michael Conforto to a 1-year deal. There was a point in time where we thought, holy shit, we're going to lose Teoscar. Michael Conforto's our left fielder. They re-signed, I'll say it, they re-signed the Mega Man, Blake Trinan, to a 2-year deal. They re-signed Kike Hernandez to a 1-year deal. Unfortunately, some guys that were on our championship team last year are not back with us this year. They lost Walker Buehler and Jack Flaherty to free agency, and they traded away Gavin Lux to Cincinnati. The over-under for the world champs are 104 and a half. I'll let you go first on this one. I'll let you go first on this one.
Yeah, so I mean, first and foremost, I'm going to say you were reading off all your National League pennants, all your Western Division titles, everything else. I'll make sure to update you on the Yankees next week. Anyway, yeah, so it's the Dodgers. I mean, there's not much to say. You kind of went through everything that they did on the offseason. They had a phenomenal offseason. You couldn't have asked for a better one. I'm going to give the flowers where they're due. You know, this is a team that um, has created a lot of buzz. Seriously, they have. You know, with the deferrals, with the money spent. They had $1 billion offseason the year they signed Otani. You know, this is a team that where most championship teams will basically run it back the year after, kind of like what Texas did. Um, they'll run it back. They said, "Well, we did it last year. There's no need to get better. Why change things when it's not broken?" However, it's the Dodgers, so of course what they did was go out and sign whoever the hell they could to whatever kind of contract they wanted to, and they got this team even better than what we thought they could be. Um, this is extremely easy for me. I'm taking the over. 104 and a half. I feel it's a good number for the Dodgers, but to full potential of this team and the way that it should be, they should have no problem meeting that number. So for me, I'm definitely taking the over. Yeah, it's the Dodgers, man. I mean, and Otani's going to come back pitching after everything you just said. So they're basically getting another ace into that staff. Um, or at least a very good number two at the very most. And I'm sure he's probably going to put up around the same numbers that he did last year with the bat. So Otani's a unicorn, and then you have the rest of the team around him. It's There's not really much else to say. I'm taking the over on the Dodgers.
Before I completely go off the rails here with my team a little bit, but I forgot to mention they did give an extension to the NLCS MVP Tommy Edman. Forgot to throw him in there. They gave him an extension too.
They
Um,
did.
Listen, you know, at this time last year, I was very excited about the team because you brought in Shohei Ohtani, you brought in Tyler Glass now, you brought in Teoscar Hernandez, but I was very hesitant. I'm like, all right, come on, guys. We've seen this a million times before. Like, the Dodgers spend all this money, they bring in all these people, they have a great regular season, and then they fall short in the postseason. Um, Looking at this lineup and looking at this pitching rotation, man, like let me just read you off the opening lineup expected. Shohei Ohtani, Mookie Betts, Freddie Freeman, Teoscar Hernandez, Max Muncy, Will Smith, Michael Conforto, Tommy Edman, Hae-Sung Kim. And you have Austin Barnes, Miguel Rojas, Kike Hernandez, Chris Taylor off the bench. And your pitching rotation is going to be Yamamoto, Blake Snell, Tyler Glasnow, Roki Sasaki, and whoever. Tyler Glass, Tony Gonsolin, whoever. Then you go to their bullpen. Tanner Scott, Kirby Yates, Blake Trinan, Michael Kopech, Alex Vesia, Anthony Bonda, and they still have some guys that are hurt right now. Evan Phillips, Brustar Gratterall, and they still have some guys on the shelf with their rotation. But I mean, I feel good about what I'm about to say. Like, we haven't had a repeat champion in this sport since the beginning of the 21st century. The 2025 Dodgers team that they're going to roll out there, this is the best shot that any defending champion has ever had to defend their championship. I really believe that. Like, we hear the term run it back. You just mentioned it a second ago. The only time we hear that is from a manager or a player or a coach who is absolutely blasted at the parade. You know, that is the only time we hear run it back. The Dodgers said we're going to run it back, but we're times a million with everything that they did. I really believe that this is the best team. This is the best defending champion team, and they're going to challenge the repeat. And even a lot of stuff that I've heard from spring training to begin this season, they're hungry for it again. Like they understand. I think the Dodger players understand they're in a unique situation right now. They understand that hey, the front office clearly thinks we can win it all again, and we want to show that we can do it all over again. I am taking the over, obviously, and I'm even going to go a step further here. I know this is going to sound crazy to say because this team has to stay healthy. Have to stay healthy. And there's a lot of good teams in baseball. I know there's like 15 to almost 20 solid good baseball teams that can beat the Dodgers on any single night. I understand that. But I really believe I'm buying into what Miguel Rojas said. I really think the Dodgers are going to challenge that 116 record. I really believe they're going to challenge for it. I don't think it's going to be something they're going to, want out of the gate. And we'll tell. I'll be able to give you an answer in the first 3 weeks if they're even going to even try to go at it. But Miguel Rojas said they want to go after it, and I'm gonna listen and I'm gonna trust the players in that clubhouse. But um, now, do I want them to go after it? No, because I want the 11 wins in October again. But um, I know it sounds crazy to say, but to me, there's no pressure on this Dodger team this year. I really believe that because of they had so much pressure last season,
Mm-hmm.
and I understand with everything that they've done, it only heightens the pressure.
Yeah.
Yeah, to everybody else who's not a fan of the team or who doesn't support the Dodgers. But I really feel the Dodgers don't feel that pressure right now. I really don't. Like they went through a gauntlet just to get to the World Series. They had to beat the hottest team in baseball, the Padres. They beat them, miracle Mets team that didn't even think we were going to make it that far. And then we beat a Yankees team who everybody said their pitching was better and everything else. Um, listen, the main thing for me is just to stay healthy. Just stay healthy. You gotta stay healthy. I don't think all the pitching stuff, all the injuries they had to their pitching last year, I don't think that's gonna happen 2 years in a row. I really don't think so. But I'm taking the over on this Dodger team, and I've said I'm like it's crazy to say this because we still have a full 162 left. We haven't even started opening day yet, but no regular season game is gonna mean that much to me. It's not going to mean that much to the fans. It's not going to mean much to the players. Like we're in it for one. We're in it for 11 wins in October, and we'll start worrying about that when we get closer. But again, I know it sounds completely arrogant and cocky to say because it's like how can you? But like the Dodgers have essentially every season come into the year. Yeah, they're a playoff team. They're going to win the division. They're going to be a postseason team. You can almost put it in stone from opening day. You can't say that about a lot of teams in baseball.
Mm-mm.
So I really believe that the Dodgers are going to challenge for this 116 record set by the Mariners in 2001. Do I think they get it? No, because I'm a coward and I don't think they're going to get it. But I'll be very interested to see if they're hovering around 100 wins at the end of August. I wonder if they're going to go for it. I really wonder. But on paper, this is the best team in baseball, and let's run it back. Let's do it again. How about it? Let's do it again, man. Like I was last year was the dream year. I would love nothing more for the Dodgers to be the first team in a quarter of a century to repeat as champions. And I think they have the team to do it.
Yeah, no, I mean they absolutely have the team to do it, and I do think they can flirt with that record. And I will say this: like you kind of touched on the whole injury thing, right? I understand, like, you want your team going in healthy to the season and you want them to be healthy for the rest of the year. That's just how it goes, but at the end of the day, it is a full 162 game season. Like, obviously, baseball plays the most games out of any professional sport. It is a gauntlet. It is the dog days, man. Like, you got to get through all those games. It's damn near impossible to play 162 anymore. Um, However, what I like that the Dodgers front office did was it's the old saying, pitching wins championships. And what did they do? Well, they went out and basically have four aces on a damn staff, which is insane to me. But I feel what I like that the Dodgers did was they covered a lot of their bases. They said, yeah, we won it last year, but again, a lot of our guys got hurt, and they want to they're covering everything. They want to make sure that if they are hurt, let's say I'm going to use Tyler Glass now for example because he's, his entire career he's dealt with injury problems. If Glass now goes down, I mean, you got two more guys out of the rotation who can easily slide into his spot. That's the type of team that the Dodgers put together. And their bench has, I'd say, three players who could easily be an everyday player.
Yep.
You know,
On
they
any
are
other team.
exactly. They are covering a lot of their bases, which I think is what really shows how serious they are about winning another championship. That's exactly what you're supposed to do. So if you're a Dodger fan, man, I mean, obviously, like I hear it from you all the time. Like that is what you want. You need to not take for granted what you are witnessing. For me, unfortunately, I was born a few years too late to see the Yankees dynasty. So I never saw those days. So obviously I'm a little jealous. Yeah. Like, damn, I wish I was a Dodger fan right now. But no, it's like that situation you don't want to take that for granted, and it's really cool as a fan. It really is. And yeah, the Dodgers are obviously on a very strict mission to bring as many championships as they can back to Los Angeles.
Right, and I'm so glad you mentioned that. And I have a hot take after, and we'll wrap this up here with our standings and stuff. But I'm glad you mentioned that because I don't want Dodger fans to forget this, and I think at times, especially at the end last year, we kind of forgot about this. We are extremely lucky as a Dodger fan base, man. We are lucky that we have an ownership that cares about winning and cares about spending money. We are lucky to have some of the players we have on this team.
Oh yeah,
And, you know, luckily the Dodgers win the World Series. You have a lot of time in the winter to reflect and really kind of look back. And I don't want Dodger fans. We're spoiled. I understand that. We're spoiled. We are. It's too late. We're already over the deep end. But I really want Dodgers to appreciate this and soak it in because we are living in the golden age of Dodger baseball. We are. Two world championships, four trips to the World Series, six, seven trips to the NLCS, a bunch of division titles. We've been to the postseason every year since 2013. Like, would I like a couple more championships in there? Absolutely. Like 2017, But I never want Dodgers to forget. And you can't convince any baseball fan of this. So I'm not worried about them. But, there was a point in time where the Dodgers were looked at as a horrible ran organization. With Frank McCourt, before Magic Johnson, Stan Kasten, and the Guggenheim Group took over in 2012. Like there was a point where the Dodgers were one of the laughing stocks of the league, man. Like the attendance was low, the team wasn't very good. We've come a long way. And listen, I understand no baseball fan wants to hear that right now, but it's true, man. Like there was a point in time where the Dodger franchise was not well run. Like you had Vince Scully pissed off at a press conference saying that he's tired of these teams exchanging owners all the damn time. Um, so um, I just we have it real good I have it we have it all real good as Dodger fans, but just appreciate it, man, because there is gonna be a day when the Dodgers are not gonna be that good anymore, and they're gonna have to pay that credit card off. That check is coming. It's
oh
coming. Maybe not in the next 5 years. Maybe not until 2035, but it's coming, and they will have to start from scratch again. Nothing
yeah,
lasts forever. But if you can win a couple more championships in the Otani era, it'll make it all worth it. But I
absolutely.
just don't want Dodger fans to, man. Don't forget where we came from, man. Like this was not how it was. This was not how it was at the beginning of the century. It was not fun. But uh,
Very well said.
anyways, thank you. And now to my hot take, and I feel strongly about this. Now I watched him get lit up in Korea in his first start. We were in Florida. It was 6:30 in the morning. I was tired, and I was I had to watch him get lit up by the Padres, and
I
you
remember
know,
the. Oh
yeah,
yeah.
and I was not happy, but I stood by him. And now, after 1 year in Major League Baseball, I know, and a part of this, he has to stay healthy. He has to stay healthy. But in year two, he knows the strike zone. He has great feel for the ball, the Major League ball in America. He had a great postseason. I think Yoshinobu Yamamoto will finish top three in Cy Young in the National League Cy Young in 2025.
Okay.
I,
I
I, I like that and I feel strongly about it. Like again, he has to stay healthy though.
yeah, of course.
But I really believe that Yamamoto top three finish in National League Cy Young voting this season.
I like that. I do. I don't think that's a far off take. It's definitely respectable. This guy, I mean, we knew what he had over in Japan, man. You know, this guy was. I mean, we saw it a little bit in the WBC. I mean, this guy's a dog, man. And if he stays healthy, he definitely has the stuff for
Oh, and Blake Snell will win it too. By the way, no, I'm just kidding.
it.
And Roki Sasaki will finish too. uh,
Might as well just give him Rookie of the Year, though.
yeah. Also, too, a quick milestone. I hope we get to see Kershaw out there, but
Mm.
he is less than 50 strikeouts away from 3,000.
Wow. Okay. I didn't know he
Yeah,
was that close.
there is a milestone watch this year. Let me get the exact number.
I hope he gets
Um,
it, man. I
I
really do.
hope so. Like I
Feels
know he's not gonna be healthy anytime soon. He will start off on the injured list. He's at 2,968.
I hope he gets it, man. I really
So
do.
if I do the math correctly, he needs 32 more strikeouts, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, okay, yeah, see? Quick math there. So so he's only a handful of strikeouts away from 3,000, and I think he will get it this year. But again,
Mhm.
like part of it, I need to see him out there. I need to see him out there again. So, all right, I've rambled off enough. I'm already going on here on an hour. Uh, let's give our standing predictions and MVPs and Cy Youngs.
Yeah, yeah. So
I think we're in sync here. It sounds like we have the exact same.
it does sound that way. And I'm going to reiterate again. This is a lot of my standings are coming from the Padres and not knowing what they're doing. I want to make that clear. I like this lineup, but I don't know if I'm going to like it come the trade deadline. Also, too, I want to say that Geraldo Perdomo and the Diamondbacks reached
Yes.
extension, 4-year, $45 million contract. I like that move. Back to my standings though. Dodgers are obviously number one. It's clear cut. I don't understand why anybody else would not have the Dodgers number one. Number two, this is where what I had just mentioned. I'm going Arizona number two. San Diego number three. Giants number four, and the Colorado Rockies coming in at last place at number five. My MVP of the league, or of the division, it's very hard for me to go against him. I'm going Ohtani. He's coming back. He's going to pitch, and I think he has something to prove with that. So I have to go Ohtani. Now, Cy Young, this is where it gets a little interesting. There's a lot of picks in this division.
There
There really
is.
is. However, I'm going to go with a guy who I picked just a few years ago. It might have been last year, to be honest with you. I just don't remember. I'm going Zach Gallen.
Ooh, I
I'm
like that.
going Zach Gallen here. I like him a lot. I think he has really solidified that Diamondbacks rotation, and I think he is going to blossom as a number two in that rotation next to Corbin Burns. So I'm going to go with Old Reliable and pick Zach Gallen for my Cy Young.
Yeah, we're in sync with the standings. Dodgers, D-backs, Padres, Giants, and Rockies. My MVP. Listen, I really want to take Otani, but just I really want to take him, but I just want to be different this time. I
Yeah,
know, I know it's hard, but
it's all good.
man,
I am
there's so many ways I can go with this.
I'm interested to see who you pick if you don't go Otani,
I mean,
because
I'm
that means
not.
he's going to have a monster year.
Well, I'm staying in my Dodger little
Oh, of
circle
course.
here.
Of course.
Uh Listen, man, I'll go. I'll give it to him. I said him. I said he was my pick for MVP last year,
Yep.
and he got hurt, and he was on that trajectory. Now, listen, I know he balled out for like 3 weeks, and then he kind of cooled off a little bit. But Mookie Betts, Mookie Betts, and part of it is he will play above average shortstop this season. I think that's part of my MVP pick. He'll play above average shortstop in 2025, and obviously he'll be a monster with the bat. And my Cy Young, you just heard it,
Yeah.
Yoshinobu Yamamoto. I love him. I love his delivery. I love the way he stands on the rubber. Like I don't know, it was either him or Snell, but I got a
Can't go.
soft spot for Yamamoto, and I just said he was going to finish top three in Cy Young voting this season. So it's only
Yeah.
right that he's the best pitcher in this division, also.
Absolutely. I like that.
All right, well, that's it. We're done with the National League.
We are, and probably one of our longest episodes ever.
Yeah,
We
because I was rambling on
this
about
it
everything.
was good.
It
I love
was.
when this came out. Very good. The
All right,
National
well,
League is over, and now we get to introduce
oh,
the better league, and we are going over to the American League side of things. Oh man.
did you not see
Well,
baseball last year? It was the National League. It was a gauntlet.
it was a cakewalk for my Yankees.
That's what I'm saying. You had teams killing each other in the National League last year.
It was a nice cool breeze over here. That's what that was.
Well, here comes here comes the Red Sox.
Here comes the judge.
Oh my God. All
Oh,
right. Well,
I into it.
all right. Nothing wrong with that. I do too. All right.
Absolutely.
Well, NL West is done. National League is done, and we
Put
will
the
begin. We will begin the American League next week.
absolutely.
3 divisions down, 3 divisions to go. Look out for our draft tomorrow, which we're all going to have insanely stacked teams tomorrow. I can tell you that right now.
It's gonna be better than last week.
Yes,
That.
which I didn't get that much shit for taking Nolan Arenado. I thought I
No,
was going to get crushed, but
I
some people were okay with it.
I will say I think the worst thing I saw regarding your team was somebody called you a Dodger dork,
Yeah.
which I liked. That
Oh,
was
well.
kind of funny.
Oh, well.
It's all
Hey,
good.
right here, buddy. Right here. How about this? How about this right here, buddy? How
That's a
about
great
that?
picture.
Yes, use it. How about that?
Absolutely.
Um. All right. Well, we're done here.
Yep.
We'll see you next week. Adios.